There's Richard Allen. The question is, did he do it by himself? Could one person have done this? The defense says no way. Take a look on the screen, folks. They say one man, 5 foot 4 inches in stature, handled all these tasks, from the abduction at the High Bridge to the crossing over the cold flowing river to the subduing of one girl while the other is killed to the killing of the second girl, waiting while Abby died a slow death. Then clothing Abby with very little to any blood transfer on said clothing, to the arrangement of the sticks into runes, to the painting of the F rune on the tree, to the throwing of the clothing items into the river, to the departure from the crime scene, and finally to traversing hundreds of yards through the forest and then up a steep hill and then another 100 or more yards until finally reaching 300 North, all the while being so careful as to not leave any DNA or other forensic evidence behind. Well, if two people did it, they didn't leave DNA behind either, so I'm not buying anything on that. But let's bring back in our guests, Dawn Perlmutter, ritual murder expert, Joseph Scott Morgan, forensic death investigator, and private investigator Lauren Vellucci. Joseph Scott Morgan, your thoughts, could one person have done all that the defense is saying was done here?
Well, I didn't know that height was a qualifier for that. They're really going out in the weeds on
well,
that.
One reason they said that is they said the water could be 3.5 feet deep in the river, and he's only 5'4". I think that's one of the reasons.
There are other places the river could be forded. And so to me, the big thing here, though, is control. And how do you control someone, particularly two young girls like this? My thought is with a weapon. And, you know, we heard about the clicking of the weapon being actuated and that sort of thing. And one key here, Vin, is that they found a round, an unspent round, at the scene, which is a .40 caliber, actually, just like the one I'm holding. This is unspent, just like the one they found, but they're saying that there are striations on it. You know, there are a couple of laws on the books that I know, as you know, former prosecutor, you're very well aware of across the country. It's a term called menacing. And how do you menace someone? Well, if you've got young women, young girls like this, they're not expecting to be encounter some monster out in the woods. Well, one of the ways you menace an individual to get them to comply is that if you're carrying a firearm, this is a dummy firearm that we use at JSU for training, but if it's a semi-automatic weapon, you charge the weapon like this, and it's a very intimidating sound, particularly to these young girls. No, it's intimidating to me. And you present this weapon, and they're already in a lost, cold place. Remember, down the hill, and he's directing them down there. If he's planned this thing out already, if he's got a location that he's going to, we know that they've recovered knives, these sorts of things. Maybe those limbs were trimmed. I have no idea, but he's perhaps nested in that area, just waiting for this opportunity. Yeah, this could be a one-man show. You're not talking. He's not dragging, an NFL lineman down there. All right, you're talking about two young girls that he's doing this to. Allegedly.
Lauren Vellucci, your thoughts? Could one person have done this?
I agree 100%. Absolutely. Per the defense's statement that he would have had an hour and 17 minutes, plenty of time. Bryan Kohberger, for instance, far less time, and we know that he allegedly slaughtered 4 people. So it is something that one person could have done. I think that the point that they may have some good information and some good reasonable doubt is the dressing of Abby and not getting blood. However, the river was right there. So did they wash off? I don't know. But to me, it makes a lot of sense that it was more than one person. And I think that is a real possibility. I think that there's a lot of truth in this new information more than falsehood, and it would explain the differences in sketches and how they looked so different as if there was multiple people that were seen.
Dawn Perlmutter, we have about less than a minute here. Your thoughts, one versus more than one person?
I think it could be either way. I think it could have been one person that they could intimidate the girls, and especially if they had planned it ahead of time, if they, whether they stumbled upon them or, were just had this in mind, fantasized about it for a long time, it could be one person or it could be more than one. I think it's also interesting that it's near the river. That happens to be another significant thing that occurs with ritual murders. They tend to occur near bodies of water also.
Dawn Perlmutter, great to have you on tonight. Joseph Scott Morgan, appreciate your insight and your time. Lauren Vellucci, great to see you as well. We're just getting started with all of this. I mean, so much information today, but thank you for your help tonight.